There's been a mixed reaction to Andre De Ruyter's sudden departure from Eskom and the board's decision to shorten his notice period. Cosatu has questioned if De Ruyter's claims about the ANC's alleged involvement in Eskom corruption motivated the move. Meanwhile, the ANC has dared De Ruyter to name the people in government he claims are involved. Govan Whittles takes a look at the reaction.
Andre De Ruyter started as Eskom CEO in 2019 with the energy availability factor at its coal-fired plants at almost 70%. He leaves Eskom with the energy availability factor hovering at over 55%. Cosatu has questioned the timing of shortening De Ruyter's notice period.
We were worried about the speed of not allowing De Ruyter to finish his term. Is it because of this interview that some of us have been watching that he's starting to speak now?
And the Federation wants answers from the board.
We don't want an acting CEO who is the chair of the board, so he reports to himself. And we've been there, we've done it. It does not work. But we may need to understand the rationale of the Eskom board on their decision.
In response to De Ruyter's claims, the ANC issued this challenge.
Our movement and our organization challenges De Ruyter and everyone else that if any of such things happen, expose them and at the same time bring them to book through law enforcement in this country. Do not mask difficulties because you fail to deal with load shedding in the country.
The DA says De Ruyter did his best during his term and commended him for speaking out.
In the negotiation of that resignation and the acceptance thereof, there was clearly no shackling of what he could say and what he couldn't say. So he said what he wanted to, and one must understand why he did so.
One researcher believes the former Eskom CEO leaves the utility with a questionable track record.
He'd failed really in his main task, which was to reduce the severity of load shedding, and one can obviously debate where the blame for that lies. He argues it lies elsewhere. Some people argue that it lies with him. I think there are also questions about whether he was out of his depth. Technically, he certainly didn't have a background in energy, and he'd only really managed private sector organizations. But one thing that I think is pretty clear is that he was out of his depth politically, and that's reflected in the kinds of statements that he's made.
There's no clarity from the Eskom board on when De Ruyter will be replaced, or whether his claims about corruption will be investigated. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Govan Whittles in Johannesburg.